Well, good morning, and good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Andy Nichols here from Two Legs, back in the regular, traditional, proper Sunday time slot. The last couple of Sundays have been not the usual because of scheduling things. I had gone to see One Hand Clapping again in the city 2 weeks ago, and then last Sunday I had a family commitment, so I went live Saturday instead. Funny story about going to see One Hand Clapping for the second time. I didn't actually get a chance to see it because traffic getting into New York was too late. And I dropped my friend off, Bob, because he hadn't seen it. And my other friends, Susan, Jim Ryan, and Kyle Hand, they went in to go see it. So I just waited for them to come out. So I actually never did see it the second time. I didn't see, so I missed it. Good morning. Hey, James. Lee, I did get it. Thank you. Yeah, I got the magazine, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to get here from the UK. Mojo was always a great magazine, and they've done some great issues on the Beatles over the years and the solo careers. Hello, James. James, we had two Jameses here. Hello, hello. Noah, good morning. That's a good name. That's what's one of my nephew's names. Did you see my comment from last night about Danny saying they're working on the... I did see it. I just didn't get a chance to respond to it yet. Interesting. I didn't think that that's going to be the one that they'd work on next, but sure. That'll be nice to be cleaned up. We'll take anything. That'll be, I know it's been repackaged a couple of times already. I think around 2005, it kind of got a recover, got a new cover on it and stuff on CD and the DVD. But then you had the old school cover too. So, hello, Susan. Russ, yeah, let's go, baby. This is a good time if you're a New York sports fan, no matter what team you root for. Oh, maybe the Jets. The Giants and the Mets up against each other tonight, which is kind of a bummer. And then the Yanks play tomorrow night against the Jets. And the Jets are up against each other. So you've got the baseball and football up against each other in prime time on a Sunday and a Monday night. So those of us that have to get up in the morning on Monday, we're just going to be very tired when we go in. But... we'll see. Hopefully it's a good Sunday night. But hey, Bill, I just replied back to you on buymeacoffee.com. Thank you so much for your donation on there. That's been a nice little new venture for us, and we are so appreciative of anybody that contributes and helps us out a little bit. And I'm going to go on a little mini rant here because I can do that now because of some StreamYard Zoom stuff, which I'll get into in a minute here before we kind of get into the week that was Beatles. Noah. I think they will. Noah. Yeah, I think they will. I think Peter will restore it. I'm surprised that we're jumping into Bangladesh now, given everything else that's in the fire right now. But every camp does their own thing individually. Beautiful fall day here in mid-October. Finally, we're here. Yes, absolutely. Big thanks there. Good morning, Kyle. Good morning. So, StreamYard went up in price. It was like $25, right? Then it went up to $45. And I said to Tom, well, screw this. Let's go back to Zoom. So I went back to Zoom, $15.99 a month. Cloud storage, which is another $10. Fine, $25 a month for Zoom. What everybody used back in the day with COVID. And I know the Talk More Talk gang uses it when they go live, when they do their shows. But it's hard to highlight comments on it. I spent 2 hours yesterday saying, that's it, we're done with StreamYard, we're going to go back to Zoom, it's cheaper. And I spent just a good chunk of the day navigating how to get it to sync to the channel. And I'm a pretty savvy tech guy, so if it's taken me a long time to figure out, then I can't imagine. So late last night, I said, that's it, we're done, we're going back to StreamYard, even though it costs a little bit more. But thanks to you guys, and supporting us, that will help us offset the cost to keep us using this platform, which is so easy to use, user-friendly, easy to highlight comments, easy to send links. So that was just my little mini rant with going back and forth because the cost of everything goes up these days. But it's so good to see the Sunday family Two Legs chat here, as usual. Go on for about an hour and a half or so before American football, 1 o'clock. And Kyle, how you doing, man? Yeah, I just told everybody how I did not make the premiere, the second viewing of One Hand Clapping, but you did. So the week that was, let me go back here, make sure I'm getting everybody's here. Susan, yep. Oh, Tony's here too, and Mr. Martinez. Hello. Yeah, so 261 dropped last night, and that was part 3 of Paul and George. with Owen Ling, covering the years 82 to 88, which took a lot of, that actually was one of my tougher editing jobs because of the internet connection. All right, Noah, that's the beauty of YouTube. It's up here forever, brother. You can watch it anytime you like. Thanks for popping in for a couple. The internet connection sometimes with people overseas is great. Like when we have Tony on, Beatly Tone, it's fantastic. Other times with Luca and Owen, we've had some internet issues, so I had to do a lot of chopping up with that one to clean it up a little bit and throw a couple video clips into it. But it's doing well. At last I checked, it was at 218 views when it dropped last night. So we hope that one performs well. And we'll do another one, as I say, in 2025 to wrap up their relationship. Let's see. Daytime Revolution, which got a limited theatrical screening on John's birthday, what would have been John's birthday, 84, on October 9th. Really good. Okay, I was not playing anywhere local near me, which is surprising in the New York area. I would have had to go, I think, to the island to see it. So that might be a Blu-ray pickup to do that. But I'm looking forward to that too. Boyan from Down Under. Hi, Boyan. Hi, Andy. Hope you've been enjoying the Mac Alive videos coming out. Have you seen much of the professionally recorded concert the other night from Buenos Aires? I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And it is tremendous, and I'm sure it's made the rounds. Some people have seen it. One of Paul's concerts in Buenos Aires was professionally broadcast and filmed, and that has leaked its way out. If you have seen it, the videos, I think it's fantastic. I've skimmed through it. I haven't watched the whole thing, from beginning to end, but pro shot. It's pro shot. Well, if I can stream it, but I'll buy the Blu-ray. But I hope it does come out on a streaming platform. I really do. James, I'm having a day of rest after 1 a.m. sleep from seeing gigs. One in Brighton, which is Sussex, not that far from Rye, and 2 London shows. Who'd you go see? Just friends, or did you see like big acts? Susan saw it on John's birthday, a 2-hour trip to Waterville, Maine. It was good. I saw Susan has mentioned she saw the Mike Douglas shows back in the day. So that'll be a good, and I know that the Ralph Nader is on there again, commenting on it. Andy, I got my SHC at McCartney. No, it's not a mini CD. That SM, yes. Yeah, super high, SMA, super high material. One more time, try it. Yeah, super high material. Yeah. Crowded House and a band called Jet from Oz. McCartney inspired? Any chance? Crowded House. They of the big hit Don't Dream It's Over. Hey now. It's the only thing I know by them. Good tune though. Yes, and we'll get to them too. It's on my little agenda here as well. Let me make sure I go back and see the comments here. Yeah, we're all caught up. Crowded House is great. Well, I'm sure the co-host of Two Legs, who is, the MTV generation demographic, I'm sure he probably knows a lot about them. I just know the one song. Brad, good to catch you live. Our NBA teams will be playing an exhibition tonight at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Yeah, with the Mets and the Giants right now, I'll catch up with the NBA probably in the new year. Probably in the new year. Especially with the trade, which I was not happy about, which we talked about, Brad. I did not like them doing that. So I'll worry. The Knicks go on the back burner till after January. Jet was named after the song. I figured Crowded House was much more bigger in the UK than the US. Yeah. Only with cough drops. Have I told you this hot take? I think Tug of War is the first true. Here we go. I think Tug of War is the first true McCartney solo album. Not sure how hot of a take that is, but one friend was very upset when I told him that. Interesting. I don't know about that, Kyle, because you had all those epic studio musicians on that album. So it's not, I don't know if I agree with that. I respect your opinion, but I think if there's a true solo album, it's going to be McCartney, because that just had limited help from Linda. McCartney and McCartney 2 and I guess 3. Those are real, true solo albums, in my opinion. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Hold on. But I like it. You're like Owen Ling there with you becoming with your controversial takes there on like things like that, like saying extra texture is the best thing, just to kind of get people talking. I see a future for you, Kyle, in that. Keep it up. 4 Seasons in One Day. Okay, 4 Seasons in One Day is another great Crowded Out song. Okay, I don't know it, but if you're saying it's good, I'm sure it is. Lee, there's some great Beatles and solo related magazines. Yes. Oh, yes, I did see some of them. And I was going to dig some of them out from the Andy archives here, in the Library of Congress here in New Jersey. I bought a couple over in England back in the day. Whenever I saw a feature on the Beatles or Paul, I snapped up Mojo. I really wish it was, you can get it here, but it's going to cost you a lot. Bob, good morning, Andy. I saw an interview with Lulu about 3 days ago. In the interview, she mentioned that she did, yeah. We've talked about this over the last few weeks. Some people don't know if it's current or she's referring to that little thing she did 20 years ago when she did her kind of version of Let 'Em In called Inside Thing. I tend to agree with you. I think maybe she did do vocals on the new album, hopefully. Yes, brother. So we'll get to that now. And thanks to you. I posted it on Facebook, and thanks again. I got to give Bob Gannon, okay, one of the mega fans on the run, credit for this. He posted and gave me the information on the discount for the Japan SHM CDs, and I got 4 of them initially. The first 4, which I got, and hold on, that one's stuck. It's the plastic. I got 4. I did not get Band on the Run because I'm like, I have 30 copies of Band on the Run, and then Tom was like, what's one more? Plus, you get the nice little Obi strip. And there's a nice picture of Paul on the Obi strip. So for 30% off with the discount code from Universal, I went back and ordered Band on the Run. So I've got them all, with more to come. And I did play them. I ripped them. So I had them digitally, but I also played them on my sound system. And my first takeaway from them is they are much more louder and punchier than the archive issues, kind of mimicking how the Beatles stuff is now, where the bass and drums are a little bit much. I mean, I even digitally listened to it last night. I went back and listened to I listened to Mumbo, for instance, on the Wildlife archive from 2018, and then this one, and it's just more punchier and brighter. So they've definitely upped the bass and brightness of these releases. And as I say, for 30% off, I wasn't going to spend $25 a disc on these, but for $17 a piece, it's worth it just to get the little Obi strip. Yeah, that's him, all right. One day he should bring all his copies and mine, and we'll just have them all splattered out. I don't know, between that and Ram, what album I have more copies of. We should see. Tony, Chicago radio station just did an animal-themed Beatles set, Dark Horse, Octopus's Garden, Ram On. That sounds like something that would be on the Beatles channel with Chris Carter. And there she is. Good morning, Mom. How are you? Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well with Dad. Yeah, hi, David. Yeah, back on a Sunday. As I said, the last 2 Sundays were a little bit different. I had a family thing last Sunday, so I went live Saturday night. And the Sunday before, I met up with Kyle and Phoebe and Susan and Jim Ryan and Bob and went to the city to not see one hand clapping. But had a great time anyway. And Kyle showed me some cool record stores. Tom, well, look, when you have 20 plus copies of an album, does one more really matter? Well, for 30% off, no. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Joe Mantaneo, how you doing, brother? Hope you're well. Hope you had a good week. Susan, my Mojo John and Paul should be in my hands in a few days. It's made its way across the pond to Worcester, Mass. I wish I had it long. I would have had it for the long weekend, though. Yeah. Well, back in the day, this would be a 3-day weekend, but most businesses and schools and that aren't closed for Columbus Day anymore. So it's not a long weekend, but I'm glad that you have one. We used to. Let's go back to Kyle. George and John had studio musicians on their first true solo efforts. McCartney 1 and 2 are home studio albums. Ram is Paul and Linda, then Wings, then Tug of War. Then Tug of War would be the first true studio effort. He's digging in, folks, with this comment, and I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. Home studio. So you're talking, okay, McCartney 1 was recorded at home. McCartney 2 was recorded at home. You make a good argument there, buddy. You do. Sign him up. Sign him up to be a lawyer. You make a very good argument. You make a good argument there. But I think it's splitting hairs. I do. I really do. I think it's splitting hairs. Noah. Oh, that's kind of you. That's how kind of you, as the man sings. Thank you very much. I think she'd agree with you. Let's go back. Well, he just clarified that. He's not a troublemaker. He just feeds the addiction. And it's an illness, as I like to say with my friend Steve. It's an illness. It's a sickness. Gotta have it. You've seen us at fests. You know, we're like mowing each other down to get to the record room. Forget about it. Well, the best time I had with Tom with doing that, though, was when I first visited him in Phoenix in 2021, when he took me to the In Groove and all the Zia records and stuff. And I was amazed at how many good record stores there were out there compared to where here we are in Jersey. And we have good record stores, but they're far apart. Within a half hour, there was like 7 record stores for Phoenix. But that was our first kind of bonding connection, and I recall it fondly. Brad, my friend Frank made an amazing find of 4 cases of the Beatles Remco dolls they gave up with Phillips. Cool. Again, that's that memorabilia type stuff, which I'm not really into, but I think if those collectibles are cool, especially the vintage ones are very cool. I actually did find, again here in the archives, I found a copy of Newsweek from 1964 when the Beatles actually first came over that a friend gave me in high school ages ago. It's in plastic. But it's a copy of Newsweek with the blue background with the 4 faces on it. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool to find. I hadn't dug that thing out in decades, but several moves later, but I'm glad I found it. But that reminded me of that. In each case they had 3 John, 3 George, 7 Ringo, and 11 Paul dolls due to their popularity at the time. Well, 11 Paul dolls, we're not surprised there. That's okay. More copies are fine. All right, here we go. James thinks McCartney 2 is the first solo album. No Beatles era related songs. What say you, Kyle, to that? Russ, you're very right here. Not all McCartney 1 was recorded at home. It was mostly recorded at home, but he went into EMI / Abbey Road. Sorry, I go old school, and I know everybody calls it Abbey Road now. I still call it EMI Studios. I know it's Abbey Road, but at the time, it was EMI. And I think some of it was recorded back, and he did it under a pseudonym too. And he actually reached back out to Mal to help him with that. It is semantics. David, I always wondered what George's Dark Horse album was such a flop in the UK, failing because it's his voice on the album, David. The voice, pun intended, was a dark horse. George's voice is shot on that album, and it makes it largely unlistenable, aside from a couple of tracks, which the best track on Dark Horse, in my opinion, is the opening track, Harry's on Tour Express, which is just an instrumental. That is the best track on Dark Horse, because there's no singing on it. Now, he sang Dark Horse later for Live in Japan with Eric Clapton. That version of Dark Horse is way better than the studio one. Best city in the world for record stores now and then? Now it's so tough to answer that question, Kyle. I would have to say New York still, just because of its variety. And I do see, especially in places like Brooklyn, there's been record stores popping up over the last 5 or 10 years. So I would still say that New York is the leader on that, probably followed by maybe LA with Amoeba. They have a huge store about an hour away from me. And Kyle, we'll go there one day. There is a great store called the Princeton Record Exchange right near Princeton University, which has been there since the late 70s or early 80s, and it's huge inventory. And that is a great record store. Tom, maybe when you're here, we'll take a trip down there because that is worth it. But I still think, hey, Chicago, Kit's neighborhood, we saw Blue Village Vinyl, which was a great store. So I think the cities, big cities, have the best ones, probably LA and New York. But I think New York is still doing pretty well with that. Synchronicity. Still have yet to get that one. I will. Yeah. I'm going to make sure. Let's see. Of course. Oh, everybody else is here. Yeah, everybody's here, right? The MVP. Of course the MVP is here. How did I miss that? Boyan. Was it Liverpool that you spent time? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That's when I was there. So we'll talk. Ram was recorded totally professionally in New York and in L.A. Absolutely. That's right. Billy Martin was it. Yeah, Ram's totally professional. Totally professional. So did anybody else grab the SHMs yet? They shipped pretty quickly. Scott O'Rourke, sorry I missed you too. I missed a couple of our regulars there. Scott O'Rourke, MVP at the top. Scheduling the show and doing everything. There's a lot going on. Good stuff. I do like what they've done here, though. This is like nitpicky fan type stuff. I mean, like the coloring of the artwork seems to be just a shade darker, and it's bigger. The cover designs are a little bit bigger than the archive releases. Yeah, technically it is because that's how it's credited. But in my Apple Music / iTunes, everything is filed under Paul McCartney. I don't know if you all do that too with your music digitally. Wings, collaborations. For me, it's Paul McCartney and then everything from the Family Way until the most recent release. Everything. Because it's just easier. You start breaking it up, Paul McCartney and Wings, Paul McCartney, Paul and Linda McCartney. It's too hard to organize. Paul McCartney, everything underneath it. Done. Susan brought up something. I am very glad that she mentioned this. Scott, I'm glad you enjoyed yesterday's Two Legs with Owen. Always a good time. Susan, did anybody else get the Ming Games Meditation Mixes LP? Again, the power of influence and jealousy. So the Ming Games Meditation Mixes LP dropped on John's birthday. And David Gargolino, the former co-host of Two Legs, he got it. And I wasn't, and I know Beatly Tone got a copy from the London Estate, and Joe Mayo got a copy from the London Estate. I went on yesterday and grabbed it. I wasn't going to, but I did. Because when you're all in, you got to be all in. You got to be all in. So, and especially Ming Games, as we talked about over the summer, how close I am and attached to it. It's another kind of a listening experience to chill out to it. So I did get it. I did not get it from The Sound of Vinyl because it was already sold out on The Sound of Vinyl. So I just got it from johnlennon.com as I got the Cube. So that should come this week as well. So have you enjoyed it so far? It's just obviously you just put it on to chill out to it, to just chill out to it. I saw that he dropped this, but I haven't watched it yet. It's about 40 minutes. But Beatly Tone did a video on Does Apple Know What They're Doing? I didn't watch it yet, but I will. I know you're not. I know you're not. Let me go back here. Boy, just wondering how safe it is. Well, boy, from my experience, Liverpool's pretty safe at night. And in the Uber era, again, back in the day when I was there, we didn't have Uber. You just called a private cab to get, if I was going to come home, if I was going to go back to my dorm room before I had lived in the city center, I just used to walk back to my flat. I wouldn't walk late at night in any city, let alone Liverpool. Just hop in an Uber and get back to your hotel, which is a lot easier to do now than it was then. Brad. We had an awesome alternative record store in Louisville called Ear Ecstasy that opened back in '85. It was popular with all kinds of crowds. Unfortunately, they closed in 2011. Yeah, the mom and pop brick and mortar stores are tough to sustain, so it's good to support them if you can. I do when I can, but if I walk into a mom and pop, I have 95% of what I want already. So I'll get something to support them, whether it's a shirt or just something small, Because they just can't, I'm not going to buy a new pressing of Paul's latest album from a brick and mortar store because they're going to charge more for it. I want to support them, but I know that if I buy it from Amazon or paulmccartney.com, I can get it probably cheaper and I can pay it off in installments. And brick and mortar stores can't do that. So you want to support them, but they charge a lot more for brand new albums. Noah. Did you see my comment? No, I did not. Talking about my reasoning for the delay. I missed it, Noah. Was it here today? If it was on this stream, I apologize. I don't think it's a delay. I just think it's not part of Apple's release plan for the fall of 2024. It's in the pipeline. It's just not. It was not going to be in the cards for this year. I think. I don't have any inside knowledge. It's just that's my gut. Hard to judge, but how many more albums are in Paul, do you think? James, I think Paul has as many albums in him as he wants to do. If I'm going to put a number on it, 2 or 3. You know, I could see him making music up until the day he drops. So whether that's 2 albums, 5 albums, I can't. I think it's a good couple. Yeah, you're safe in the city center. You're totally fine. Hi, Julia. Good morning. What were you talking about? 30%? Yes. So if you go to the Universal website to order these and not Paul's site, because I just get them from there, you can get them from Universal, and the 30% discount off code is UMG30. All caps together. That'll get you 30% off all of these. So the titles are about $25.98, but after that, after you apply a discount, you get them for $17 and change. So that's a home run. And here we are, hypocrites, saying, we're not going to get this stuff. And then I got it. Now Tom's going to get it. Susan says it's a cool-looking LP, mellow. How many discs? 1, 2, 3? I've never had any trouble. Yeah, well, there were parts of Liverpool that I was told to avoid at night, which were like Toxteth, which is where Ringo was from, and the Dingle, like that area, you wouldn't want to be in at night. The Dingle, Toxteth, Egbert, which is where I lived for a little while, which wasn't so bad, but in the city center, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. I thought it was 3 LPs. Yeah, I looked at the track listing, so be very cool to listen to it. I do, actually. Without watching Tony's video, I think Apple knows what they're doing. I do. I may not totally agree, but they do it. Go get him, girl. 30%. Go get him now. Go. Laura. No problem, Laura. And thank you for that donation on buymeacoffee.com. Really appreciate that. Yeah, all good. We're all good. Tony, did I hear Sean Lennon on the Beatles chat? I did not. Is it a new interview? I'm guessing it's tying into John's birthday. Everton too, because one of my campuses, Liverpool Hope, we had classes in Everton, and then we had classes at the campus in Childwall, which is a dumb American in 2010. I said Childwall, and they all said it's Childwall, you stupid Yank, and I learned real quick. So yeah, Childwall, not too far from Woolton actually. But I would avoid those areas at night too. Yeah. But yeah, you learn quick. It'll be great, Tom says. Yeah. Well, apparently there's more coming in the pipeline. So you got 5. So maybe the next 5 we get are Venus and Mars, Speed of Sound, Wings Over America, London Town, and Back to the Egg. They may not be archived, but if they're this, we'll take anything, right? Yeah. We shall see. Did you all notice that setlist-wise, Paul slipped high back into the setlist for the first time in 5 years, according to ex-two-legger David Gargolino, which that was cool to see. I think he swapped that out for Helter Skelter. He put high back in there. So fingers crossed that becomes like the one that he swaps out for the 2 times that I'm going to see him. Maybe one night we get Helter Skelter and the other night we get high. So I'm hoping I haven't seen High live since 2013, I think. So that was nice to see him do. And the video, the Pro Shop video is so cool. It's out there. You just got to use your little fingers and go on Google to find them. It's out there. It is definitely out there. Brand new interview touching on the Mind Games box and more. Okay, so nothing from the summer when the Cube did come out. Russ says Apple was a mess from the start. Why would they change it now? Money invested in Magic. Yeah, well, exactly. It was. And then Alan Klein, of course, and all the mess. We don't have to go into any of that. Oh, it was birthday. Birthday was swapped. Okay. Which is cool. With Bob Weir. That's cool. Actually, now that you mention it, I probably did see Hi 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 in 2016 at MetLife here in New Jersey. I think if James Liverani's still on here, he can confirm that. I think Hi 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 was played then too. That's when we got Temporary Secretary the first time. We were like, what? How are we hearing that song of all songs? James Boyce heard Hi 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 twice in 2015, which was great. Yeah, he plays it a little differently, but that's a song that got such a convoluted recording history and a complicated one from the McCartney Legacy book. I mean, that song took, eons to complete because of the timing, which we learned from Cozen and Sinclair, which just about 2 months from now, hopefully that volume 2 of the Legacy book will be out. And 2 months from today, I'll be in the UK, which I can't wait for. Yeah, happy times. Happy times. Sound checks have been interesting too. On My Way to Work got played at a sound check too from New. Wow. Put that thing into the main set, Paul. No, he's not going to do that, which is fine. Paul's toured for every album in the 70s except London Town. That's an odd but accurate fact. Absolutely. He did. He did not tour that album. Because even Back to the Egg had a short tour. Good point. And I guess you could say that Venus and Mars was the start of the tour and Speed of Sound was done during that tour. So yeah. And yeah, Wildlife Red Rose Speedway, absolutely. Yeah. Temporary Secretary has been played at a few sound checks this year, but he hasn't been playing It's So Easy, which is I think the Buddy Holly song. That's fine. That's totally fine. Anybody else pick up the new books from Luca Perazzi? I know Andrew Dixon did a little video promoting them on his channel. He didn't really talk about them in depth, but he just kind of promoted them. But Luca Perazzi, another McCartney scholar, it's like we turn our heads and there's another book coming out. 15 years ago, when there was nothing coming out, we would have killed for all this writing on McCartney. Now we turn our heads and there's another book coming out. On the solo Beatles or on the Beatles, but particularly solo stuff. And now Luca throws 2 more books at us, which are great. It's just got to find the time. I'm still, as you see over my shoulder there, working my way through John Blaney's book, 1973, the last year the Beatles were fab. And I'm about halfway done with it. I'll probably, hopefully, definitely I'll finish that before Legacy arrives here. But when that book arrives here, then that's it. Legacy book. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. Don't text me. I'm reading this book. I'm going to try to read it faster than Tom this year, or this go around. He read it like in 2 weeks in 2022. He's like, I'm done with it. I'm like, how are you done with it? It's like, how are you done with the book already? But he marathoned through it. I'm going to try to finish it first though this time go around. Hopefully. Not to mention, She's a Woman is out of favor of Drive My Car. Do you like that or not? I like She's a Woman going in there instead of Drive My Car. I think that's cool. Noah, son, my opinion, these new mixes of the albums are to not only make current, but to hear it a different way. Sure, they absolutely will. James Boyce was at the show that debuted Temporary Secretary in London in 2015. All the mobile phones were going mad and forming fan forums about a setlist change. I'm sure they were. Huh. Okay, Laura. Oop. I do that, and then somebody says a comment, and the one I highlight doesn't have to highlight. I got to take it down and put another one up. But see, this is so much easier. Zoom would have been a nightmare. So glad we stayed with StreamYard. Laura, watched the Joan Borelli interview last night. Love it so much. Love Joan. My God, I want her life. I hope you guys are planning a show together for the UK shows. We are. She's going to all the shows, as you know. I'm only going to the 2 in Manchester, but I will obviously catch up with Joan at some point over there, as well with Boyan and Beatley Tone. Yeah, that is on the agenda. Susan. This is a good question. The white Hard Day's Night colored vinyl, which is for National Vinyl Day or whatever that is in England. I have not gotten that yet. I haven't decided if I am yet. I think Tom said he was going to get it. I'll probably end up getting it. because of, it is 60. They're celebrating the anniversary of it. I'll get it. Absolutely. She's a Woman is a better song to drive my car. I agree with that. Definitely. Boyan says, I heard She's a Woman last year, so happy to drive my car, even though I heard it in 2017. Not too fussed with one over the other. Sure. Again, we're splitting hairs. It's Beatles songs. You're splitting hairs here. You really are. So, looking at the calendar coming up like a flower, ha 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 ha. Paul has got 3 shows this week. 2 in Sao Paulo and 1 in, really just all in Brazil, but 2 in Sao Paulo and 1 in Florianopolis, and then he goes down to Argentina. Yeah, so the 15th and the 16th back to back. That'll be interesting to hear how he is on The Voice, because they do back to back shows. But I think his voice is fine for what it is. Is it true the real reason that you're going to see Tone and you might as well catch McCartney? Yeah, that's it. I just had to see Tone. Forget McCartney. That's the real reason why I'm going. Absolutely. Nothing more on the country album yet, that with T-Bone Burnett. We'll see. Crooked Boy. Still, I gave that a spin last week. Still enjoy that one. Of all the new Ringo EPs, that's the strongest one. I enjoy it. Luca's work is outstanding, and we have been corresponding via email and social media since 2013, believe it or not. Actually, before that, we used to trade emails, and I sent Luca a copy of my dissertation, and we've been pen pals for many, many years. Remember what those were? If you're of a certain age, you know what a pen pal is. But it was nice to so finally meet him in person for all 5 minutes when I was in Italy this summer. And he's a true scholar and a fan, and any work of his is greatly appreciated, and we're enriched by it. No way, Serge. Keep me I'm amazed, and add my love. He's definitely not going to do Back in Brazil, Noah. I think maybe sound checked only. Brad, Sao Paulo is my sister-in-law's hometown. She's in her 70s and has lived in the U.S. most of her life, but still has her accent. Wow. Excuse me, I got to drink my coffee while I'm on the air here. Boyan, back-to-back dates gets me excited to wake up the next morning and read the Soundcheck main show set list, which, if you're following and you're up, you can just go to setlist.fm and refresh that sucker at the same time and look and see, which is what I've done a couple of times. Or having Joan just message us and give us the breakdown of what's going on. And I'm so surprised that so many people did not expect Paul to work now and then into the set list starting up again. I was not surprised. I was actually waiting for it. I was like, of course he's going to do now and then. And so many people, Ken Michaels and Joan, were like, oh, I didn't think, I wasn't expecting now and then to be in the set list. I absolutely expected it to be in the set list, and I am not surprised it was. And they did a great job with it. I mean, the audio that I've seen, the videos, even the fan shots, but the pro shot one is great. He's not, but he's just coming up so we can meet up, you see. He's going to the shows in London, but he's going to take a trip up with his missus, and we're going to meet up with him in Liverpool. And we're working out those details. But yeah, he's not going to the gigs themselves. He's just taking the trip up. I think he says it's about a 4-hour ride to get from where he is down south up to the good part of the country. Ha, 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 ha. Honorary Scouser. I'm proud of it, damn it. Even love the accent, too. That's the thing. The accents over there are so different. You go 10 miles down the road, the accent's different. A Birmingham accent is different. Forget it. I love hearing the accents is just, that's all part of the fun. All part of the fun. When you think, oh, England, that person has an England accent. The accents in the UK are very varied, and they're very tough to pick up. The kitchen's almost open. Take care, everyone. Tom, chop, 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 chop. Cook those filet mignons nice and medium, the right way. Go Lions, too. They're playing those Cowboys at 4 o'clock. We need Detroit to beat them. Go Lions. Let's go. Peace and love to everybody in the South. Peace and love to everybody in the South. But the North is where it's at. Sorry, it's where the best music in the world came from. What do you want me to tell you? The music that has defined our lives came from a small seaport in the north of England, not in the south. Sorry, Stones. I have to admit, I didn't think Paul would be playing that, but I'm delighted he is. Yeah, see, everybody's surprised. We will. And I'm so happy that he's able to make that and get out in the public and kind of and be okay and be healthy enough to be around people, given his treatments. And bravo for him to continue to create content while he's battling his disease and recovering from it. Because if that was me, I'd be off the grid. See you later. Bye. I'll talk to you. I'll be back when I'm healthy, but not Tone. He's an asset, and it's just a great source of information. England has far more dialects in a tiny country. Yes, they do. Russ says England, Finland in 30 minutes, then Washington or Baltimore, Eagles, Browns, Cowboys, Lions, Steelers, Raiders, Knicks, Wolves, Giants, Bengals, Mets, Dodgers. Full sports day. That's right, baby. Yeah, there's a game going on right now, actually, over in, I think it's over in there's one in London right now. Jacksonville's playing over there right now. Yep. Dino V. Hello from the middle of the country. All is good. There's Dino V, and hopefully you saw our episode with Dino that we did on Driving Rain's Bad Rap. Let's go Mets. That's right, Joe. I just hate that we got to wait till 8:30 for it, and it's up against the Giants, which I know you don't care about football, but man, it's a good time because we're so like sports are like we either love it or they're tanking and we don't care. Right now, the Giants have a little bit of flicker of hope because they won in Seattle last week, which was a great win. And now they're playing on Sunday night against the Bengals. So now, and then we have the Mets on this kind of miraculous run here, so Subway Series, possibly. I remember it in 2000. It was not good. It was over in 5. But the Yanks were on their mission then. But let's go Mets, Joe. Come on, baby. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna be dialed into more of the Mets tonight. Although I'm gonna set up my viewing to have the Mets and the Giants on multiple monitors. In the office here, I got a TV here, 2 monitors here. The games will be on and covered. Thank you for the Driving Rain episode was great. It was. I thought it would do a little better view-wise, but it hasn't. But that's okay. I know our content sometimes gets inundated with stuff to do. I know Joe was live this morning too, so you just figure it out. Let's get there first, MVP. Let's get there first. Let's beat those skanks. I always love those talks between Yankees and Mets fans. Well, we've got 37 World Series. I said, yeah, if my team was around from before the flood in 1896, we'd have a lot more World Championships too. That's what we got to say, Met fans. We've got 29 World Championships. You only got 2. Yeah, well, 20 of them came around before the Mets were even around. So have a nice day. So long. Yeah. So long, skanks. Driving Rain was great fun. Yeah, it absolutely did. Check that show out, Joe, because I know you love Driving Rain, which he affectionately calls Thriving Pain. But it's really not as bad as we thought it was, because we took it apart bit by bit, and I whittled it down to about 10 or 11 tracks and made it a really good record. It's not as bad as we thought, as we like to crap on it. It's really not that bad. Give it a re-listen. Joe, did you see Daytime Revolution, and what did you think of it? Because I know it was playing near you, and I think you saw it. I'm curious to your take on it, if you liked it. You don't call it Thriving Pain anymore. But did you see Daytime Revolution? I'm curious what your take on it was. Laura, have you ever seen the series Happy Valley? Set in West Yorkshire. Great show, but make sure those closed captionings are on. I have not. There's so much to watch, man. It's impossible. It's impossible to keep up on a series. It really is. They did. Yeah, but you know what, Susan? You've got 2004, which as a Yankee hater was fantastic. You're up 3-0. You're up 3-0 in the Red Sox, and they come back and win, and they won in Yankee Stadium. I still remember watching the Yanks losing Game 7 at home, and I was laughing, doing cartwheels in my parents' house. I was so happy to see them lose. And the Red Sox beat them. God, that was fantastic. Hello, Jeff. I'm doing very well, and you can catch on any way you want. I hope you're doing well this Sunday, and just recapping the week that was. Little sports talk, little John Lennon talk. 84 he would have been. Hard to believe that, when you grow up idolizing these guys, now you're like, wow, I'm older than John Lennon ever lived. That's a sobering thought. And here he is still influencing, and we still love all of his music. Yes, sir. October of 1984 is the Broad Street anniversary. 40 years. 40 years. And some point this month, we're going to record a rewatch and watch the film with Ed Crawford to drop probably by the end of the month. Yeah, that'll be a fun watch. We know we're going to get flagged for that for content, but it's too good to not do. Again, and we're not really here to make money off of YouTube, that's because it's not even worth it anymore. That's why we just do the buy me a coffee thing. Certainly was. God, I still can remember that night like it was yesterday. Brad says he just met a friend of his from Jersey and this weekend who was in for a race. I showed him around town. We went to the Louisville Slugger Museum. Very cool. What part of Jersey? Tony, the Tom Petty album Echo is very similar to Driving Me. The songs are about loneliness from ending a marriage and happy songs about a new marriage. Yeah. Matt, hello, Matt. Thank you for the, yep. And there you go. The price is finally right. There you go. Yes, and if you want to hear their take on it, Talk More Talk is doing their show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and they're doing it on their take on the documentary Daytime Revolution. So check that out over on the Talk More Talk page tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on YouTube. And you liked it. Good. Yeah, I'll wait for that to drop or just pick it up on Blu-ray. Jeff says, I actually like Broad Street movie, the music, even the dream sing, the cringy moments, silly love songs. Well, some people in Chicago actually loved that version of Silly Love Songs. Not the video, but just the performance of it. Scott Erickson he famously said, and I agree with him, thinking about it. Not far from New York, definitely not near Philly. Good, because if you had Philly, it would be a weird accent. Yeah, if the Mets had beaten the Yankees in 2000, then all the Yankees World Championships would be nothing. That's right. That was a fun Met team. Benny Agbayani and all those guys. That was a good Met team. But they lost in 5. But that was the end of the Yanks dynasty. Dino is going to do a Broad Street special as they went to the premiere, as you told us. And you have the photos of all the stars arriving. Ringo, Lulu, Paul, Linda, and George Martin, lots more. Awesome. So that'll be a fun one to do as well. Yeah, but I'm just trying to see what else I've missed here in the comments. Yeah, the code for the price is right, and that's the great thing about some of these sites. You get the nice discount code, and there you go. It's nice they offer that. So the meditation mixes, I'm curious. I'll put that on one night to just chill and relax and just see how it is. Still enjoying it though. Still very much enjoying it. And just about a month from now, yeah, we'll have the mono albums released and Material World. Actually, Material World before that as well. Unfortunately, so what? Let's just get there. Let's get there first. And they're playing the Dodgers, the team that left Brooklyn. Wouldn't that be great? Go out to L.A. and beat the Dodgers because you left Brooklyn anyway. Because some people are Giants and Mets fans, and you hear that. You also hear people go, "How are you a Giants and a Yankee fan? A Giants and a Mets fan?" Well, the answer is simple. If you were from Brooklyn and you were a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, that's who you rooted for. And when they left, you'd be damned if your family or your relatives were going to root for the other team. So they rooted for the new New York team, which was the Mets. So that's why you have a certain pocket of people who are Giants and Mets fans, and that's like me. So, yeah, right on. And a few other people, too. Brad's had 4 different players on our university basketball team from Camden. Yeah, that's south of here. That's like basically that's outside of Philly with that accent. And they're Wawas and their hoagies and everything else that they do down there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the gigs are coming up. All good things. Hopefully we get some more pro shop videos leaking out of the concerts. Would be nice. You've lost, yeah. Football and cricket here. I know. So I don't want to do too much sports, but yeah. And listen, proper football is a sport nothing like that I've ever seen ever in my life. It makes American football look like tea parties, as John Lennon famously once said about American football. He said on the Monday Night Football in '74, when he was on, he goes, I think Howard Cosell asked him, what do you think of this whole arena with everybody here? And he goes, oh, it makes rock concerts look like tea parties. But I think opposite with proper football versus American football. It's not even close. It's not even close. The fandom and the rabidness and the appreciation and the insaneness and the intensity of watching a sport, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it when you're in England watching when you're watching a proper football / soccer match. Nothing like it. Yeah, it's a good. I can understand why people would like that version of Silly Love Songs, because you've got the guys from Toto playing with Macca on there, really like slap bassing and stuff. So musically, it's a really tight performance. Visually, it's disgraziad with the makeup and the hair. But musically, and I got to give Scott credit to that, because I always used to say, Silly Love Songs, Broad Street version's crap. His take on it changed my view on it, actually, because as a musical performance, it's actually performed and played flawlessly. Visually, not so good. Yeah, Wawa's. No, not the George song. That's a Northeast American chain here that seems everywhere you drive now, you see another one pop up. Good morning, Mike. How are you? Yep. Before you know it, the calendar will end, and we'll start planning for the fest for 2025, believe it or not, which I'm happy that it's back. I'm happy that it's back, and wasn't sure if it was going to be back after 2024, but I can confirm, actually, as an email I got this morning from one of the people involved with it, planning will go in place for the New York City Metro Fest for end of March, beginning of April 2025, and looking forward to it. Have spent the week past revisiting my Yoko CDs for research. All right, Dino, good for you, man. That's music I cannot get my head around. I have all the respect for her, but I cannot listen to the music. I just can't. I can't do it. The double fantasy material, that's about it. I can't. I can't do it. I mentioned, yes, you did. Yes, you did. See, they're making their way to Louisville, too. God, they're going to take over the country. My God. Jeff says, did you see the video from Tracy Ullman? Yes, I have. I have seen that. Yeah. Tracy Ullman, 1980s. Yeah, Paul's not going to revisit Broad Street, or maybe imagine if we get like a half-speed remaster of Broad Street because it's 40 years old before the end of the year. Wouldn't that be interesting? But I don't think he's going to get it. I don't think he's going to touch it. No, it's not, Tony, but we cover all things here because we're real. We're very real, and, we like to touch on things that, we take our time up with doing. It's not the focus of the show, but it's part of our lives, and some people have other interests. Bob, do you know where I can purchase a new Broad Street that doesn't cost a fortune? Bob, my gut reaction to that would be go to Discogs to look for that. If you want, email me. I can send you some links to where you could find it. I mean, what are you looking for? Are you looking for like an original copy, an original Columbia copy? Let's do the grab here. I have two at the ready right now. I mean, you have the original Columbia, okay, of Broad Street, which, how much did I pay for this? $4 at a record store. Not bad at all. And then you've got the regular Capitol EMI pressing. And then you also have the 93. So it all depends on what you're looking for, which the 93 is on the other side of the room, so I can't reach them. But you can find them. Again, it's not brand new. You want a brand new copy, that might be hard to come by. But if you want a used copy, just a new CD of it. Well, Bob, why don't you send me an email and I'll do some homework and I'll send you a link. Send me an email at twolegspodcast@gmail.com or my regular email, which is just andynichols@gmail.com. I'll put the email address in here. Send me an email and I'll do some research for you to find it. Hold on. There we go. And Dino would know too. 3 variations of Broad Street, around 20 pounds on eBay. Yeah, that's not bad. And if it's brand new, I could see that. You know, you don't want to buy a used copy. Imagine if you found one with the long box. Remember the long boxes with the CDs? God, they were the best. I could see why they got rid of them because it was a waste of space with cardboard. But damn, they were nice. I'm glad you asked that. I am, brother, and I haven't forgot. I'm going to share it with you. I'm making my way through it. I've only ripped. What am I up to here? So I'm up to disc 13 of the live 1974 live recordings box for Dylan. There's 27 to rip. So when they're all digital, I will share them. But I'm working on it. But yeah, this sold out pretty quickly too. But I'm enjoying it. I've listened to a couple of songs from the first couple of shows. Yeah, but I'm working on it. I've got the other one, the collector's edition of the cutting edge, which I haven't even ripped this yet, which I'm still working. I got this about a month ago in Princeton, and I haven't even ripped this yet. So I've got a lot of ripping to do because I like to make them digitally. Yeah. Yeah, it just takes a while. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Sure, Tony, send us an email. Send us an email with your idea. The long boxes. Those long boxes were used for stores. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Jeff. And I have, if I can reach it, not break something like I did a few weeks ago, dumbass that I am. Hold on. I have these anthology CDs, which, again, you say I paid $20 for them. In the long box. I never saw them sold this way. Ever. So like this was like it's a little bit of a gap up on the top here, but it's the CD, it's sealed. When I got these in 95 and 96, I think at Nobody Beats the Wiz, actually, if you remember those commercials. They were just sealed. They were just sealed in the Fat Boy cases, but not like this. So when I was at Princeton Record Exchange a couple of years ago, I saw these. I'm like, wait a minute, sealed anthologies and long boxes? I'm like, I'm going to grab these for $20. That's a home run. Not bad at all. So the long boxes were cool, though. Very cool. Wasn't thinking of... Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem. James, I paid a hefty price for Back to the Egg and Broad Street on eBay. I'm sure you did. Boy, and wishing we can get a new live album from Paul. The last two we got was Good Evening New York and the Spotify singles album. Both were auto-tuned to the max and songs were played in the lower key. That's one project that we would love to see Paul do a comprehensive live thing, right? From all eras. From all eras. That would be so cool to see. It really would. From the early days all the way up into the end. I don't think we need another live album of the Got Back tour, but some kind of all-encompassing, career-spanning live set from the beginning to the end. 10 discs, whatever. But that doesn't seem to be that's not Paul's marketing strategy these days. His team isn't really doing that. They're doing smaller things, one-off things, and that's it. The multi, like a Dylan, like what Dylan does here with this 27 CD, Paul's never going to do that. We'd want him to, but he's just not going to. I wish he would, because Paul McCartney's career is so comprehensive and he's done so much that it warrants the release like that, but we just get dribs and drabs of stuff. Kenny Dalglish. Remember hearing that at the end of the Coming Up one-sided promo single of McCartney 2 going, what's he saying there? What's he saying there? I remember hearing that as a kid, saying, I don't get it, because I was probably 10. I didn't know who Kenny Dalglish was then. But obviously, I learned who he was later. Matt said the anthology cassettes also came in long boxes, a bit shorter, though. I've seen that at Fest, Sue. I grabbed a couple of anthology. I think I have anthology 1 and 2 on cassette, just need 3. And just like to collect them to have them, because I still play cassettes on. If I don't feel like flipping a vinyl, I'll pop a cassette in one afternoon and just let it play. Yeah, chronology. Absolutely. Just let's do a 10 CD thing. And you got a taste of that when we got the Live Over Europe CD bundled in the Big Barn box. You got that. And to hear that professionally sounded quality recording, which you know has been sitting in the archives, we got that and it came out. And we're like, wow, what else could he be sitting on? What else could he be sitting on? Yes, he is. He was one of the Liverpool Football Club, he was a player and became their manager. Right, that's why he was shouting their name. But going back to what Russ says here, you hear it. There's a professionally recorded thing from 1972 that sat in the archives for decades. Paul's team polishes it up and makes it available exclusively to the box set, which I know ticked off a lot of people, but that for me was a no-brainer. In December of 2018, that's going to have a lot. I mean, I was going to get the whole thing anyway, even if it didn't have that, but it did. And I know that they kind of feel that they brought up the crowd noise a little bit on some of that, but to hear things like Bip Bop and things like that, which I know is not great, but to hear that stuff professionally recorded, you can only imagine what is sitting in the vaults, which they could do some 10 to 12 comprehensive thing of all of that. But we wouldn't say to no to anything at this point, Boyan. We wouldn't. Kyle asks, I wonder how much influence Paul and Dylan have on their archival releases, or if their team just handle it and they give the green light. I think that's probably what it is. I think the team says, let's try this. They go to the boss, and the boss says, do it or don't do it. And the team comes up with the thing. But the thing is, especially in Paul's case, he has an entire team dedicated to, to his research, to what he's recorded, what he's done. Like, he's got that team in place. I really wish I was a part of it because I would do it for nothing. Hi, hire me, MPL. I'll work for you for nothing. Just let me meet him. I'll do all your work for you. I'll do it. He has a team that does all his work for him. So they know the outtakes. They have all this material. So it's not like they don't know what they have. Paul's team knows exactly what they're doing. What their plans for it are, we don't know yet. But I just think that the teams work on it, and at the end of the day, the bosses go yay or nay, and it comes out. So that's kind of where it's at right now. James would rather have the archive continue than any more live stuff unless it's Wings era. Sure, I could agree with that. I could agree with that for sure. The underdubbed mix was something. No, it wasn't, but it's here, and we'll take it. And it's a different listening experience. How else were we going to make Band on the Run? How are we going to whet the appetite of the rabid fan and collector? Well, give us a new mix. Give us an underdubbed, stripped down, no Tony Visconti strings mix of it. And for that, I like it. It was a new way to hear it, and we all bought it. Susan says, I want those archive set more than live ones too, but I think that dream may. Well, not according to the Got Back Tour book, as we posted on our channel, and Susan showed us. I'm sorry, and Joan showed us in the book. It's not officially dead yet. It's on life support. Paul's team could do with me or Andy to correct. Yes, let's do it, James. I would do it for nothing. Nothing. You've got fans and scholars here, the people that have studied this stuff and know it inside and out. So just give the fans what they want, man. There's an unofficial 5 LP glass. Well, yeah, I haven't gotten that, but it's circulating online, and I have a recording of it digitally, which is good. Which is, for me, that's good enough. Brad. Tracy's cover of They Don't Know by Christy McCall was far more successful than the original. I wonder how much of that was due to the video. Probably. I love Christy, though, especially there's a guy that works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis. The old chippy. Nothing like stopping at a good chip shop after a night out in the town. Salt and vinegar, baby. Line it up. And walk out of there with those greasy chips, and you have yourself a good night there. Yeah, just resting. David says, wonder if the fact that Dylan sold his song catalog to Sony means his team have a different policy to Paul. I'm sure. I'm sure that's very true. Band on the Run meditation mixes, Jeff. Good one. Oh, any way to repackage something, right, and get us to buy something we have 10 times over? Yeah, depending. Yeah, or salt, vinegar, and curry sauce. Throw it all in there. Throw it all in there. Ubu Jubu on CD. That's another project worth doing. A Chippy Tea in Liverpool. The Ubu Jubu stuff, see, there was material a lot of that stuff that was on Ubu Jubu is covers, right? You're hearing Paul's influences and things like that. So I don't think he'd ever release that because there's other people's music on it. So I don't think that would ever come out, right? Because you hear other people's music on that. So licensing wise, I don't think Paul could release just Ubu Jubu. A highlights thing would be cool to hear that's the first time we ever heard some demos. I remember listening to that in the 90s on the old, if you're in the New York area, 92.3 K-Rock on summer nights. Coming up is Paul McCartney on Ubu Jubu, 11 o'clock at night, radio on, listen. Ooh, there's a demo of Ebony and Ivory. Then you're like, wow, this is fantastic. Never heard this before. Nick, how are you, Nick? Looking forward to December. This time, 2 months from now, Nick, I'll be over there. And I heard you're making the trek as well, too. So we'll coordinate our schedules with Tone. Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you, man. Great time. It'll be good. And hopefully you make your way back to the fest in beginning of April of 2025 here in New Jersey at the Hyatt Regency. Yeah, the bootlegs. Yeah, again. Yeah, I have the whole thing on a bootleg, but officially, it was never aired in the UK. So they didn't air it in the UK. It was only for America. Yeah. Yes, sir. Hope the fest, too. Return to Pepperland. Yep, we'll see. I think that could be the next, abandoned project type thing that One Hand Clapping was. One Hand Clapping was this long-lost thing that never came out. I think that could be the Return to Pepperland thing. For sure. I think that could be, whether that's next year or in a couple of years, I think that could be the next archival thing that says, hey, in 1987, Paul did these sessions with Phil Ramone, and here's what came out. And then they come out as this whole Return to Pepperland thing, and Return to Pepperland finally comes out legitimately. I think that has a good chance of happening. Wishful thinking, maybe, but I do think that there's enough material from that era to warrant it. I do. Hi, Nick. I know. You guys can sort all that out, but yeah. I was sorry. So the fest is at the end of March. Sometimes it goes into April. It's always the last weekend in March, but the last weekend in March sometimes goes into April. So that's, Cold Cut should come out. Absolutely. The fest is the 28th of March through the 30th of March. So it does not go into April at all. But so it's March, which will be here before you know it. We'll have Halloween. We'll have Thanksgiving, as us Yanks here celebrate in America. I know in the UK you don't, but I wonder if you guys actually do any of the people in the UK actually celebrate the American Thanksgiving? It's become popular, or is it just another day for you all? Curious. And then December, magical time, baby. Paul. It's so cool that many here will be seeing Paul in the UK. Now and then. Oh, yeah. I was telling this to somebody the other day. I was talking to Bob Gannon. You put now and then, you factor now and then into the set list, high, and then you get Wonderful Christmas Time and Mull of Kintyre. You get those 4 songs into a already established Paul McCartney set list. That's a special concert. You get Now and Then, Mull of Kintyre, and Wonderful Christmas Time. He could just play those 3 songs. So if we know Now and Then will be in the set. Wonderful Christmas Time, Mull of Kintyre as well in December in England. Drop the mic. Andy, what's your first archival release if MPL hires you? My first, that would be the last Wings tour from '79. Absolutely, no question, hands down. The live, putting together a live archival compilation release of those shows in December of '79. That would be the first thing that I would say, look, we got to do this. We got to do that. Yeah, I remember, and I remember pleading with my professor in Liverpool Hope to say, would five from the four of us had said, can we please have off from class on Thursday? It's a holiday for us. And he says, but you Yanks are over here now. But he ended up giving us the night off anyway. But yeah. David said shops have Black Friday sales, but no mention of its link to Thanksgiving. I wouldn't think so. Right. Yes. Yeah. Tell me about it. Oh, good. Yeah, exactly. It's just another day. Yeah. Drop the mic. Resuscitate time. Man. It's like, I still can't believe that I'm going. I really can't. I'm still like a dream. But 2 months from now, the dream will become reality, folks. What would be included in the London Town box set? Oh, Water Spout for sure. Water Spout and those rough mixes. Not promoting bootlegs or anything, but I know that if you follow the HRC series, another one of those is dropping soon, about to come out, of the London Town outtakes and roughs and demos. So I'll be curious how much of that stuff has not been heard before. So that should be dropping out. That's coming out soon, I think, too. Yeah. You've inspired me to pull up my Campuchia LP. Absolutely, yeah. Kyle, that would be the first one I'd do. Say, look, MPL, you've got to get that Last Wings tour out there. You've got Juber and Holly still alive and with us and performing and playing well. You know, those guys are still around, and they love talking about their time with Paul. We've met them both. We're going to have Steve Holly on Two Legs at some point, maybe before the end of the year, if not at the beginning of the year. So these are guys that really loved their time with Paul. So that's a release with those two guys still with us that could be really done right if MPL packaged that up right. You know, because it was only 17 dates. That was it. No, he has not. Well, no, Wonderful Christmas Time he has. Wonderful Christmas Time he has in the U.S. Yes. Not Mull of Kintyre. I seem to, Paul did a show at the Apollo back in 2010, and he played Wonderful Christmas Time then. He also played it on Saturday Night Live, too, around the same time. Yes, I was just going to say that, yeah. He played it at the Apollo. Yeah. Boyan, feeling the same excitement as you, Andy. I thought October last year would be my last time seeing him. Overjoyed with now how this is all unfolded. Absolutely, Boyan. I'm excited with you. Yep. Brad. Concerts in December are fun. I saw Jars of Clay in December once, and they did their version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer sung to Smells Like Teen Spirit. Lots of fun. Jars of Clay, I can't say I'm familiar with. What kind of band are they? Yeah, because it's a province. It's part of the Commonwealth. So of course he's going to play Mull of Kintyre. And if I have to fly to England to see Mull of Kintyre, then we can check that box off. Bucket list. A lot. I only went there once. I looked in the door. I saw the tug of war poster hanging in the office, but I didn't go in. And my uncle said, you went all the way to England and you actually didn't go in and knock on the door and ask to meet him? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. That's going to happen in December, though, with the sound check. I will. I haven't heard Mull since 1979. WC Wonderful Christmas Time I heard twice, once in 79 and once in 2010. Okay. Yeah. Because that only came back. Oh my God. As soon as the guys come out with the bagpipes on the stage, I mean, come on. Bagpipes in general always kind of fill you with emotions, right? But to see it at a Paul McCartney concert and see those guys come out blowing on the bagpipes, forget it. No, not this time. Not this time, because I'm not going down to London. I'm only going to be in Manchester. I'm only going to be in Merseyside area, really. So that's just Liverpool and Manchester, because I'm only going for 5 days. So I'm not going to have time to get down south. But I think it's so nice of Tony to make the trek with his wife to meet up in person, which I think is so nice of him to do that. He didn't have to, but he's going out of his way, and he's not even going to the gig, which I think is so nice to do that. So, but I'll get back to Abbey Road eventually. I hope it. I'm not gonna. If I get a chance to meet him, I'm not asking him about the archive set because it's not his decision. As I say, I think he just says yes or no. If I get that chance, it's not going to be about that. Susan saw Paul in Montreal once, but he didn't play Mull of Kintyre. But I'll have to go if he plays Halifax again. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to have to wait and see in 2025, right? If he comes back to America. So this may not be the last time that I'm seeing him. We might get a chance to see him again. Boyan says, a school band played for Mull when I saw him in 2017, and one kid got his school's bass drum signed. I think I almost cursed out my mother for not sending me to school, to that school. You know that. You know that answer. I don't even have to say it. You know exactly what it is. Yeah, they might. So, and those are the last ones of the tour. Tell him to say yes. Yeah. Jeff, sounds like a splendid time again. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Maybe back at the hotel or something. Or maybe we'll meet up and do one together, right? Me and Beatles Tone on camera together in person. Definitely, we're definitely going to do that at some point, for sure. That we, over those 5 days, little Beatles Tones, Beatles channel, and Two Legs crossover. Haha. Excluding Now and Then. What do I want to hear most? Well, I mean, I've seen the set list so many times. Excluding Now and Then, I guess what I'm looking forward the most to hearing would be the Golden Slumbers medley at the end. I probably will be about a basket case by the time I hear, once there was a way to get back home. Yeah, I think hearing the Golden Slumbers medley at the end in England, no words for that. None. David seeing Lulu in November. She's having guests, sadly, Paul. Yeah, probably. Actually, not. Not for a Paul concert. No way. No. Not at all. Well, now, yeah, that would be fantastic. Now we're talking like fantasy. That's a supreme fantasy to hear. Hold Me Tight, Lazy Dynamite, and Hands of Love and Power Cut. Yeah, that would be the best. But I'm just trying to be realistic. Nick was like outside of Now and Then. Golden Slumbers. Golden Slumbers. Dino says the world wants Ringo to join Paul on stage to do Now and Then in December. See, that's why I was going to Radio City, because I thought that was going to happen, because Paul was still, I think, in Long Island at the end of September. So that's why I said, gotta go to this, because it's Ringo's last tour, the last day of the tour. It could happen. And then he canceled. I don't know if Ringo's going to fly over to play with Paul to close out the tour. He might. But I think it would be the better chance of it would be the other way around, where Ringo's touring here and Paul just plays with him. I don't see Ringo flying. And if somebody asked did they hear how he was doing, I did not hear how he was doing. I'm sure he's okay. It's about 3 weeks since the tour was canceled. So coming up, yeah, and the horns too. Having the horns for the first time for Letting Go. Did you see the video? In Buenos Aires, there was horn players like in the crowd. That was pretty cool. The camera panned over to those guys during Letting Go. And you saw the horn players playing the... That was cool. That was cool. At the United Center in October of 2005. Really? He played Mull of Kintyre in America? Golden Slumbers, yes. Well, that was the reason why I said no words, Nick. I would too. That's not going to happen. Although I got to hear Denny Lane sing that, God rest his soul, several times at fests and in concert. I got to see him do No Words. And Lawrence Juber and Steve Holly and Liverpool, the house band, they played No Words in their little Wings set list tribute to Denny at both fests this past year, at the TWA in February and in Chicago. No Words was a part of both those sets, and that was pretty special because you had, giving Denny tribute with two guys of Wings, which was in there with Glenn Burtnick and all those guys from Liverpool, which was just fantastic to hear and see every time. But it's got to be Golden Slumbers, Nick, right? Nick, are you going to the Manchester gig, or are you just flying over? I wasn't sure with tone on that. Are you just going over? Now, No Words from the 79 tour, that's a great version, which is why I say, back to Kyle's question, that's the one, that's the archive project that's got to come out first. Absolutely. Yeah, Nick, just clarify. Are you going to the London gigs, or are you going to the Manchester gigs, or any of the gigs? No Words would be cool. The closest I've seen to Berlin doing No More Words. Another good 80s band. I need some clarification on that. I did not think he ever played Mull of Kintyre in America. I could be wrong. I just thought that was a long established thing. He didn't play Mull of Kintyre in America. Yep, gonna wrap it up here soon too, brother. Have a good Sunday. Be well. I'll get the Dylan stuff to you soon. Yeah. Have a good day. The London gig. Okay, so you're just, yeah. So again, that's so special, man. You're making a trek just to come see me in Tone. But you are going to go to the London gig. Okay. All right, so that's cool. That'll be awesome. And hopefully you come to the fest too. You come to the fest in New York / New Jersey in March. I hope you can be there too, because that'll be fun as well, and we'll all be there. So I'm probably going to start wrapping it up. So I'd like to thank everybody. It's been an hour and 20. This has been good. Very, very good chat this Sunday. Good to be back at a normal time. So Dino, Kyle, Brad, Serge, Nick, Tony D, MVP, Jeff, James Boyce, Joe Mantaneo, Boyan, Patrick, Laura, Susan Gagney, of course, as always, Gary from Liverpool. Just scrolling up so I don't miss anybody here. David Jackson, of course. I think I got everybody else that's on here regularly. Serge. Russ, of course, with some great topics today. Thank you. Bob's Place. Email me again. And I'll work on Broad Street for you. twolegspodcast@gmail.com or andy.nichols@gmail.com. And I'll work on that for you in the coming days. Mike, of course. Tony D. Joe Mayo popped on for a little bit too. Thanks, Joe. Joe Mantaneo. And I think that pretty much rounds it out from the top of the show when we went on. So thanks for being here today, everybody. Make sure I didn't forget anybody. I did forget somebody. Hold on. I want to make sure, because he contributed. Brad, of course. Brad gave some great comments today. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. Scott O'Rourke was here for a little bit too. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, my mom was on for a little bit. Thanks, Mom. And I think Tom Hunyadi, obviously, and Lee, of course. Lee from Swansea, who gave me the intel about the Mojo magazine. Thank you, Lee, for that at the top of the show. Appreciate that. And Noah. Noah was on a little bit too. And was Bill Leary at the top. So thank you. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Bill, at the start of the show. Enjoy your Sunday. Let's go Mets. Let's go Giants. I'm sorry, everybody in the UK is like, what are these Americans talking about their sports for? But it's an exciting time for us here. So have a great week. If you ordered those SHMs, look forward to them coming this week. We'll have a new show for Two Legs as well next Saturday as well, with a certain guest doing a really fun topic for episode 262. You'll see that next Saturday. That'll drop on the 26th. The 19th. That'll be episode 262. And we'll have one more for October. Oh, and James Liverani, of course, was here too. How could I forget my brother from another mother? He was there at the top as well. And hopefully his dad pops on here at some point too. So we've got a good show with a guest recording for Two Legs this week, which we'll post next Saturday. And I'll be live next Sunday, usual time. So have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your music. Enjoy your day. Peace and love. And I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.